leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
Gulf Coast Aquarium is now Gulf Coast Aquarium and Pet. They have a full line of live reptiles and reptile supplies, including the area's largest supplier of ZooMed products. ZooMed, a family-owned business with over 45 years of U.S.-based manufacturing. ZooMed is #1 in reptile products worldwide and is now available at Gulf Coast Aquarium and Pet, 469 Harrison Avenue, downtown Panama City. You know the Break Room for the best pool tables in Bay County. But did you know they serve delicious gastropub-style food? Check out the Break Room's daily $12 lunch and dinner specials, like spaghetti and meatballs, meatloaf and mashed potatoes, chicken pot pie, hamburger steak with gravy, and more. All specials come with side and dessert. The Break Room, Joan Avenue and North Lagoon in Panama City Beach. Dine in or call the Break Room now. 850-588-8310. 850-588-8310.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
And the Braves are back in front.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. John, ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
It's the last ball you gotta bat. The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good Thursday morning out here in the Florida Panhandle. I am amped up today, so depending on what Jay says, who knows how this show is going to go. But you are listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. As always, you can listen live and local on 104.3 in Panama City Beach and Panama City, 101.9 along the Forgotten Coast. And the great news is you can always watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You just got to search ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm going to see if I can share and talk at the same time, Jay.
Oh, yes.
It's talent, right?
Yes, it is.
So you got to share the show.
Right.
And also visit us at ESPNPC.com. Just click that Listen Live button and have the mobile app in your phone. All you got to do is open it, and the show just comes on right there live.
Yep.
And it's good stuff inside the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC right there at 2251 West 23rd Street. Just head east on 23rd Street, across from the Giant Flag. New vehicles in stock. I mean, it is Kramer Day. I hadn't heard from Chris in a little while, so we'll just assume that those Tahoes are coming in. I know the HD trucks are coming in as well. And if you need to get back out on the water, I know you guys were on the water earlier this week.
We were.
Jay showed us that monster fish he caught out there, but a fish nonetheless.
It is.
A caught fish is a caught fish. It doesn't matter what the size is.
It pulled pretty good. I mean, I was like, man, like this thing.
You were surprised.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I'm ready to get back out there.
And your first time on a boat in the bay.
Yeah. I mean, first for everything, man. 42 years old, and But I mean, I have been on cruise ships. I've just never, been in a boat on the bay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what I was driving over here an hour ago, and it's a lake out there.
Yeah.
Again, and I guarantee you by the weekend it'll be crazy.
Yeah.
It'd be bumping, that's for sure.
Wind blowing, seas up, just how it goes.
That's it. Have you been out since Monday, Michael?
I have not.
No, I got you. Yeah, man.
Obviously, you haven't either, Jay.
No, I'm. But when he says go, I'm there.
We'll go back.
Yeah,
Sitting on go, right, David? Always sitting on go. You got to be ready for that. But with all that being said, if you need to get your boat back out on the water, go check out Kramer Marine and Outdoor. They are a Yamaha outboard full line dealer, Suzuki outboard dealer. They have a Yamaha Master Certified mechanic on staff, selling Seabourn, Spider, and Sundance boats, and now Skeeter Bay boats as well. So they only sell boats that begin with the letter S. I don't think that's actually true, but that's what we're going to say. You can check out all their new and used inventory at KramerMarineandOutdoor.com. We got Michael Shears back in the studio with us. How are you doing?
I'm great. Excited to be here.
Always good to have you on. How's your summer been? I know besides when you've been helping out Jay with some junior camps, you've been playing a good bit of golf.
Yeah, it's been good. I've been busy, kind of staying in the Southeast. But I've played, I think, 4 tournaments to date and getting ready to head to 2 more in the next 2 weeks.
That's awesome. I mean, we're out, we're pulling for you not only here at the station, but Bay Point and Bay County when we want to see you make it to that Corn Ferry Tour. So next time you come in the fall or when you qualify, we can interview a Corn Ferry Tour player.
Hey, that's the plan. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. That's the goal. I know it is a grind out there, especially with how hot it is, but you got to push through, right? You got to put in the reps every day. And do you ever take a day off from hitting balls?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just as important, to take care of your body and your mind. Like, you've got to get away from it every now and then. Yeah. And, that's when I get done with all my work, I'll go fishing or kind of do whatever.
Yeah, clear your brain.
And I'll get back from a tournament and I'll take a day or 2 off or take the weekend to just go do whatever. But, if you're at the golf course and you're thinking about something else, you might as well not be out there. So, you just got to find a balance of, are you ready to go work and do you have a list of things you want to accomplish? And if not, then, take a break, go get your mind right, and come back the next day, be ready to go.
That's exactly how Jay is here on the show.
There you go.
Day.
That's right.
He's thinking about nothing but this show right now. And when he wanders, that's when we get some different comments. But yeah, we're definitely playing. When is Corn Ferry qualifying start?
So pre-qualifying, I think it's September 13th through 15th.
So getting close.
A little over a month, and then it's the same deal all the way through. You go pre-qualifying, first stage, second stage, and then final stage, and they're all 3 weeks to a month apart. So
gotcha.
It kind of goes all fall, hopefully.
Just goes to show you how difficult it is. It's not just a couple rounds of golf and you're either in or out. You've got to keep grinding week in and week out. And I guess that's for a reason, because when you get on those tours, it is a grind week in and week out. There's no doubt about that. Wasn't going to talk about this, but since you're here, what do you think about the Justin Thomas situation? I just want to get your opinion on it. Obviously, you played very high-level Division I golf and kind of seen guys like him come through and all that. But do you think he just, obviously we always make more out of stuff, and he hasn't been playing up to his normal standards, and that kind of got exemplified in the Open Championship, shooting a big number, which a lot of other people shot big numbers as well. He's playing this week. I don't even know if he's teed off yet in the 3M, but he's just outside the top 70 in the FedEx Cup. But what do you think, from your perspective, he's obviously struggling with something, whether it's a swing or whether it's something mental. What do you think's in his best interest to do when it comes to this kind of stuff?
I think he's got to keep playing. At the same time, I would say it's probably a more so mental problem than it is physical. When you look at his scorecards, particularly from the Open, I think that round he shot 82. I mean, he makes a 9 on the last hole, and I think he had a couple of doubles mixed in there too. So when you really break it down, like, he's playing good golf and he's hitting some good shots. I mean, if you're making pars and birdies in a major championship, like, you're obviously doing a lot of things well. So then you have to look at it. It's probably 3, 4, maybe 5 holes around that are just killing him. And, he's probably gone down a road trying to fix things that weren't necessarily broken. Now, I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's speculation, obviously, but yeah.
But I would say more so than anything, he's probably just a little bit mentally tired and frustrated that he can't get the ball in the hole. And, when you get in a position like that, you start trying to fix things, and that's not always the best path forward. So I think he's going to be fine. I do think he'll have a good week this week.
Do you think it's time for him to move away from his dad at this point? Because I know his dad has been. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think so. And I don't know their relationship completely. Now, I have gotten to meet both of them. Justin hosted a tournament up in Louisville for junior golfers on the AJGA. So I went up and played in that twice and got to talk to both of them. But I think his dad probably knows his swing better than anybody, and if Justin's getting frustrated with it, maybe it's time to get a second opinion, but at the same time, they've done so much together. They've won 2 PGAs. I mean, I don't know if he's won a playoff of any. Obviously, hadn't won the FedEx Cup yet, but they've accomplished so much that I think it's hard to move away from something like that.
Yeah.
Well, and we've poised it on the show earlier this week, just talking about when you're the dad, not only are you his swing coach, which is a completely different thing, but you're his dad too, and it's got to be a tough balance for him to walk to not only be a dad but also be the swing coach at the same time. And you don't see that too often in sports. I mean, a couple examples here and there, but just tough. So I mean, it's got to be tough for his dad too to kind of work through what Justin's dealing with. How do you help the best? Is it mechanically? Is it mentally? Is it just being a dad? It's got to be a weird position.
Well, you got to take the emotions out of it too. And obviously, we've talked about this, Ryan. Hey, Ryan, why don't you teach Parker and then I'll teach Liam golf, because there's an emotion part between being a dad and a son, and I guess they've been able to fight through that.
Well, and they've been doing it for so long, and I think that's more on, this is just my opinion, more on the kid understanding, because there's so many, you have that dad son that you butt heads because the kid already knows, the dad's just trying to help, you go back and forth, but I think because they've been doing it for so long that it's probably never been an issue. That's just my opinion anyway.
I think that's a good situation too, and I remember watching the Full Swing documentary. I don't know if y'all watched that, but Justin and Jordan Spieth were on there. They were, I think, the first episode, and they talked a lot and had a lot of film where JT's dad was helping him, and I think they were down somewhere in Florida and they were getting some work in, but they were butting heads a little bit. And I think when you've got a swing coach and a player that aren't afraid to challenge each other, I think that's a really good thing, because the player's not always going to love the feel and the coach is not always going to love the look. But if you can challenge each other about it, you can get somewhere. If you've got a player that's too afraid to say, I don't like this or this doesn't feel right, and a coach that just wants to go with it because he thinks it looks good, you can get into a bad spot. So as hard as it could be for a father-son relationship to be coaching on the PGA Tour, I think at the same time it gives you a unique dynamic where you can dig a little bit deeper and kind of needle each other to hopefully get better.
I agree.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, it's relationships are everything, especially when you're trying to get better, and it's always a little different when it's a family member, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Did you watch that the FIFA World Cup match last night?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I was kind of back and forth, but
the Braves game was exciting, and it ended in a loss, unfortunately. And
there was a lot of emotion in that FIFA game, I thought.
It was,
one more. Oof.
Did we win or did we lose? I thought I saw we lost.
It was a draw.
Okay.
It was a draw. So the first half, I actually watched the whole game with Liam for the most part, but that first half definitely was outplayed by the Dutch women for sure. They scored about 18, 22 minutes into it, something like that. And then halftime, USA seemed to regroup a little bit. They came out firing a lot more. And then what was crazy is I was trying to explain, I don't know if you saw that play or not, but I forget her name, the number 10 on USA, she takes a hard foul from one of the Dutch women, who apparently she plays on the same club team with, so they know each other. She's down for a little while. The play resumes with a free kick, and then shortly after, USA gets awarded a corner kick, and number 10 and the girl from the Dutch team are going at it, yelling at each other, pointing at each other, getting close. Ref has to come in. Almost looks like the ref's talking to the parent talking to two kids. Be nice to one another and all that kind of stuff. So they go on and on along for a little bit longer. Eventually, the corner kick happens, and then number 10 scores on a header on the corner kick. And if you see instant karma a lot in sports, and if that's not instant karma, you foul your friend hard, and then the friend comes back and scores right after that. But then they just couldn't get anything else in the back of the net. They had another goal, but what's her face? Alex Morgan was just offsides by a step. So it ended up being a 1-1 tie. And as I was talking to somebody this morning, he said, never bet the over in Women's World Cup games. Well, guess what I bet last night?
The over,
and it was at 2.5. There were so many chances. I got excited when the Netherlands scored kind of early in the game, not from a USA pride standpoint, but from an actual want to win the bet standpoint. And then another goal wasn't scored till the second half. But it was an exciting game, and a lot of people are on the U.S. Like, that was the first time in 17 matches in the World Cup that they've been trailing in a match.
Yeah.
Trying to make it the third World Cup in a row, which has never been done since the Women's World Cup was established in 91. But, sometimes, when you have these kind of games, it's a wake-up call. It's good. I mean, and the Dutch are good, don't get me wrong. They played the U.S. in the World Cup final, the last World Cup, and lost 2-0. So it's a good test. Tough draw for the U.S. to have the Dutch right there in their group as well. But
I just don't understand soccer. I mean, a draw, a competition, and you're just going to throw in the white flag.
Yeah, but you got to look at the bigger picture. The draw adds to a point. In the first stages of the World Cup, you've got all these groups. Each group has 4 teams. You just got to be in the top 2 to advance out of your group to the next stage. So, it's a draw, but at the same time, it's how they're earning their points.
Yeah.
So for some teams, the draw is really good. Obviously, for the U.S., they're trying to win that game, but they're currently tied in their group with the Netherlands. Both team has there's so many different names for the Netherlands. I know David was talking about it last night, but they're tied with the Netherlands. They each have 4 points. Portugal has 3 points as they beat Vietnam, and Vietnam has 0 points currently. So the U.S. still has to play Portugal, and then the top 2 teams will advance out of that group to move on to the, I want to say it's the round of 32, because there's 8 groups. I'm 16. Group of 16. There's 8 groups, top 2. So there you go, 16 players. I guess that would be the quarterfinals, right?
Yeah.
I think the men's World Cup is a lot bigger, if I'm not mistaken. But their next game, I believe, is not till a little bit later on. See if I can find it here real quick while we're talking about it. They're playing Portugal on August 1st. It's going to be 2 p.m. our time, so that'll actually probably be is that a night game? I don't know. That might be 2 p.m. New Zealand. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But they find a way to get the USA games on in primetime here in the States. So.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I don't watch a lot of soccer, but it was interesting just because we've been talking about it. But the Boston Red Sox uniforms last night. What's up with that?
It's terrible.
Yeah, yellow.
Dude, that is not terrible. That's wild that you think that. No, it's for the Boston Marathon.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
They're still just a wonky color.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching a soccer match.
I didn't know if that was an 1897 uniform back when baseball was first.
No, I get it. That's actually like a huge outrage. In fact, Justin Turner, who's playing with the Red Sox this year, had no idea what it was for until he played the first time in that uniform. But I said the same thing. First time I ever saw him, like, what in the world are they doing? Trying to be UCLA or something? And then when you find out it's about the Boston Marathon flag and all of that good stuff, it's probably one of the coolest city connects at that point in time, because that's the whole entire point of those uniforms, is to connect with the city.
Yeah, I got you. And I noticed some Braves had some yellow. It must have been cool up in Boston last night because they had the yellow under long sleeve.
I think what's-his-face always wears those, doesn't he? Ronald Acuna Jr.
Always wearing yellow, but now he's gotten to wear his whatever he wears on base, the little oven mitt and all that good stuff, is like not burnt orange, it's like a neon orange.
Yeah. He's flashy.
He's a highlighter.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm going to ask you guys this question because I think we got a few minutes left in this segment. I was watching that World Cup game last night, and I was kind of like going in and out. We were talking about FIFA, playing FIFA game. I was kind of going out like, it looks like a video game, or the video game looks like real soccer. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. What do you think is the most realistic sports video game right now when it comes to watching it on TV versus playing it on the video game?
Like sports-wise, or just a particular one?
Sports-wise.
Sports-wise, just in general.
Yep. And whoever wants to take a stab, if you're ready, feel free.
I haven't played video games in years.
That's because you're trying to make a career on the golf course. You shouldn't be playing video games.
Yeah. Unless you're Kyler Murray, I guess, at that point. And then you see which direction the career goes.
Yes, absolutely.
Are we talking just graphics or gameplay?
I would say both. Overall, what looks as much like watching it on TV as you're playing?
I would say your top 2 would be NBA and FIFA. And then when it comes to gameplay, I would venture to say if you put the settings on as hard as possible, golf would have a tinge, and my expectations of that compared to y'all's expectations of that are totally different, right? Yeah. It's just because I shoot terribly, and if I put the settings on hard, I shoot even worse on the video game than I do in real life. And then baseball, just you can change some of those settings to make it feel kind of realistic to the gameplay side of things.
And I played Madden with my son last Sunday or whatever, the new one.
How bad he cooked you?
Yeah, he cooked me pretty bad. I mean, that's pretty much, I can't even remember.
That's hard. You're like, which receiver was X? Which receiver was Y? Or there's no Y, but
I'm glad David didn't mention football, because I feel like Madden game hasn't progressed in the last 7 or 8 years, in my opinion. I mean, graphic-wise. And I know David plays... Well, you play a lot.
Graphic-wise, I would say it continues to get better and better. But gameplay-wise is where it's kind of been in a little bit of it. They keep trying to add these new things like real motion and all this stuff. I think it just makes the game too complicated.
Well, it's hard, too, because you've got, like, linemen and so many people going so many different directions.
Right.
And there's no way to, like, I would think, program that into a video game where it looks different every time. So it almost looks like they're on a track.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And they've tried the quarterback view before. You remember, I don't know what game that was where you
Madden
actually...
2004. Or wait, are you talking first person?
First person, yeah.
That's NFL 2K5.
There you go,
yes,
yeah.
Sir.
And did you like that, David?
I did.
Did you?
I mean, I don't think that you could play a lot of games like that, but it is something that you're just like, oh, this is interesting, you know? It gives you a little bit of...
Have you ever done the Oculus?
I haven't. I get claustrophobic. I don't know.
I am not surprised about that.
Yeah, if we get into this metaverse thing that we keep talking about, and we're driving along in our cars, and I have this thing over my...
Why are you driving in a car with your eyes covered? That's confusing.
Supposedly, like...
I want to hear more about this.
Well, I hear that the billboards on the interstates are supposedly going to end up, like, leaving. So, like, your Lamar advertising, all that kind of stuff is going to be...
Sorry, Lamar, you're out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're out. Actually, I know a few Lamar guys. Sorry, guys. But you're using your Oculus, and then as you're going down the interstate, you're seeing these billboards, your advertisements.
So you're still looking at the road, or is your car driving you autonomously at this point?
Now, I mean, we're getting a little deep here, Ryan. I know.
That's the only option that could work.
Yeah, I mean, you're the one that took it this direction.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's the future.
It's the future. Well, getting back to why I was going to say that is they have golf. And they have tons of stuff, and I've done the football one before where you're the quarterback.
Right.
It's fun, but it's like the motions are slow. It's slow, and the way it's a little arcadey, but it's cool to be first person. You're in the stadium, you see your people. I thought the golf game was pretty fun. It's just I always have a tough time calibrating the floor level, and on the golf game, if you don't have the floor level right and the calibration, it messes up the swing.
Okay.
That's one of those things, because playing real golf and then doing that, you want it to be as real, but it's fairly realistic.
Yeah.
If your hands are slow through impact, that thing's going right.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
We're moving into that. I think there's a putting aid out there right now, Michael. Have you seen that putting aid where it's an Oculus and you look down and you can see
see the line or whatever
and everything? That's interesting.
I guess that trains you to be able to read the greens better, because you can't wear it when you're playing.
No, you can't.
I do know we do have to take a break, and we do have a caller on the line. We'll join him when we get back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Northwest Florida is already your home for the most live and local sports talk. And now we're taking...
Oh, he got all of that one.
The Inside Drive. Ryan Mulvey, middays, 11 to 1 inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. The latest reactions to the biggest stories happening right now. Plus, interviews, sports betting, and your calls.
You got to be pleased with that.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Thursday. A likelihood of thunderstorms and some sun this afternoon and evening with a wind at 9 miles per hour out of the south-southwest and a high of 89. Tonight, look for clear skies with a temperature near 79. Tomorrow, a high around 90 and mostly sunny and a likelihood of thunderstorms. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take your next adventure in an eco-friendly, all-electric Kia EV6 that gives you the movement that inspires. You can live fully charged while saving now and down the road on fuel costs. Schedule a test drive today and explore the electrified Kia vehicles at Billbird Kia. You have to drive it to believe it. Now offering $7,500 EV lease bonus when you lease a new 2023 Kia EV6 wind electric all-wheel drive for 36 months. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology with a performance that minimizes the impact of our environment. Billbird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000 1,000-mile warranty. See us today at 2435 East 15th Street or Billburn Kia, PanamaCity.com. We make it easy to switch to EV ownership and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Close-in lease based on a new 2023 Kia EV6, model number N5452. No security deposit required. $7,500 EV lease bonus not available for cash. Subject to credit approval, dealer participation, and vehicle availability. $49.99 due at signing for well-qualified leases. See dealer for complete details. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billburn Kia warranty. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 9/5/23.
The only place to get sports betting coverage on the radio. Is this legal? Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. I miss my stationary chair from yesterday.
Right.
Just if I let go, see, it just start moving. But we do have a caller on the line, Coach Whitworth. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Big Mobley. How you doing?
Oh, doing fantastic. It's a beautiful day here in the Florida Panhandle. Hot, but I'll take hot over cold any day.
Well, we got you by about 10 degrees up here in the Arkansas, but I ain't complaining because, Jason Day said, I'll pray for days like these when I'm on my deathbed. God bless him for being real after the Open Championship. I want to say, give a shout out for Kramer GMC. They are the prettiest trucks. I was raised on Henry J's, if you know what I'm saying. I won't say the word, but GMCs are the prettiest trucks. All trucks are pretty good right now, but GMCs are the prettiest. I bet they got some pretty campers over there at the other side and some pretty boats too.
Oh yeah.
Won't you speak a word about them?
No, they're doing fantastic. They got great stuff, and their service is wonderful, and we appreciate them being our studio sponsor.
Well, here's the thing about not buying online. That you said the word service. You go build your relationship with your local person. I don't care if you have to drive a little bit, and you get the kind of service and respect that you deserve. You buy something online that somebody's getting rid of, and you just don't know what you're getting into. You might get you a nice center console, say, Boston Whaler type, about 21 feet, V-hull. The thing might leak. Well, where are you going to be when you buy online? You're going to be sinking into the bottom of the Gulf.
Or going to Kramer Marine and Outdoor to get your boat fixed.
Yep, there you go.
Let's see you, Rick. I had to say hello to my neighbor there. He's going back to work. I wanted to talk about gambling today because I like how y'all out front. You're not hypocrites. You talk about gaming.
I love it.
And I talked to you earlier off air about soccer.
Never bet the over.
Never bet the over in soccer, especially if the line's 3.5. And I don't care if it's Premier League or women's or what. Never bet the over, and stay away from the under too if there's a hook on there. Now, if you can get Sal or Sonny or Guido or DeAndre at the pool hall to give you a line without a hook in it, because there ain't never been no half point scored in soccer.
Nope.
Never. Or football. I hate hooks.
Or any sport, for that matter.
Yeah.
Maybe cricket. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, unless you're betting on hacky sack or not hacky sack. What do you use those say? Or cornhole or beanbag.
Still no half points, just 1 and 3s.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Leaners and stuff like that. Stay away from that, boys and girls, men's and women. Okay? Stay away from the hook.
Always.
Anyway, let's talk about what do you think about the 3M championship at TPC Twin Cities?
I'm going to let Jay Bird take that one.
Well, I know we're early on. I'm checking my DraftKings as we're talking about.
It's probably not looking so good because there's a lot of different names up there at the top. But Justin Suh and Hideki Matsuyama and Brant Snedeker. I was just talking about Brant Snedeker the other day. They're all -6.
Where's he been?
Yep.
Where's he been at Pop Stroke?
That's right. Ooh, it's funny you say that. We got a Pop Stroke coming.
Story.
Breaking news.
Let me tell you a Sned story real quick. I grew up in Nastyville, Tennessee, home of Glenn Manley. Well, Snedeker's daddy was a stockbroker, lawyer or something. He went to Vandy and Haynes went to Ole Miss. But his mama ran a pawn shop out in the kind of shady part of town where my daddy is from. If I won't mention his name. But anyway, so this musician kept bringing his drums in and pawning them. You got me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, one day, and he always came back and renewed them because he was he was a aspiring country music drummer. Well, then the 60-day period went by. They had his drums downstairs, and they said, like, well, his mama tells Brant, go down and get the drum case. Leroy, or whatever his name was, didn't come back and pay off his pawn debt. Well, Brant goes down there and opens up the drum case. It's full of rocks.
Uh-oh. Talk about a
So
lemon.
Leroy went back to Arkansas or Georgia or wherever he was from and took the drums and snookered to Snedeker's. Well, does it matter? No, because he won the FedEx Cup, okay?
That's right.
You know, he got his $10 million. Anyway, just watch out for hooks and for over-under. I tell you what I liked until he got caught.
Uh-oh. Coach, you there? I think we lost you.
Uh-oh.
You got... You know Sneds, right?
I know Sneds a little bit. He ran the junior golf tour, or I say ran it. It was named after our.
Well, we host one at Bay Point.
That's right.
We host the one in December, which is one of their out of town ones.
So he does a lot for junior golf in the state of Tennessee, and certainly appreciate everything he did. That was a huge part of my growing up, and obviously with him being a Vandy boy, we got to know each other a little bit. With me being there for 4 years, and I think he's been battling an injury a little bit the last couple years, but good to see him back playing well. And you know, as long as he keeps that pop stroke rolling, he'll play golf for a long time.
Yep, that pop stroke helps. And speaking of pop stroke, I know we have a pop stroke coming to Panama City Beach. I heard in the Pier Park West.
Okay,
that's all the details I got, but it will be coming, so that'll be cool.
Yeah,
just to have, what is it? Is it big shots or great shots? I say this every time. I think it's big shots.
Big shots.
Yeah, big shots coming and a pop stroke coming. We're big time now.
Man, no
Is the big shots, is that what's going over there at Legacy?
Yep, yep, taking over the driving range and all that. Yeah, they're supposed to break ground this fall.
Yeah,
so we'll see. But yeah, that'll be awesome.
This is great news.
And I also heard that the Pirates Voyage. I don't know if you've ever been up to Pigeon Forge and attended the Pirates Voyage show, but there's one of those coming to Pier Park as well.
Wow,
that show's awesome. The only reason we go to that one when we go there, they're diving off of huge diving boards, flips into the water, and all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
A lot of great things happening.
Yep.
Pop Stroke is in Orlando, I believe.
I think it's in a lot of places.
Is there
now,
a lot of
but
places?
I think it started in that. It might have started more in the Tampa St. Pete area, but don't quote me on that. But there's franchises, kind of like Top Golf. They're popping up all over the place, or Big Shots, whatever.
But this is a miniature golf course.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it miniature golf. I'd call it almost like a putting course. And is it real grass? I can't remember if it's real grass or artificial turf.
It's got to be artificial.
It's probably artificial, but it's more like the same kind of party atmosphere, all that kind of stuff, and it's really not that expensive to play.
Right.
But you're only putting. But yeah, it's cool. It's very Top Golf-esque as far as the David's about to answer this turf grass question.
Synthetic turf.
Synthetic.
Okay.
So not real. That'd be tough.
Yeah.
You'd have to mow it every morning, make sure you have irrigation.
Get destroyed.
Oh yeah, the foot traffic would be brutal.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's what happens when you have a lot of people walk or drive or do anything under grass.
Yep.
Can't hold up.
No,
it's not real.
No.
That's why the NFL uses it, even though the players hate it.
Right.
You have a gambling story.
I want to hear about your trek home yesterday before we get into.
Your gambling story is way better than my trek home yesterday. Yeah,
I just feel bad because I left early after the show and
you just left me stranded.
Left you stranded.
No, that's fine.
I feel like I let you down yesterday.
Nah, you didn't. I hung out with those guys, ate some food. Glad I didn't go with the double cheeseburger with all that stuff on it, like David had recommended for me. But yeah, I ended up realizing I had a flat tire after leaving Dave & Buster's. Made it to Tuffy's right there on 98, and then walked home.
There you go.
And then got to my Chamber of Commerce board meetings in time.
Hey, what an afternoon.
What an afternoon.
Interviewed some high school football players yesterday, which was cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I know David got to do a lot as well.
Yeah, in the afternoon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, give us your gambling story.
No, I mean, it's just all right, so I was an assistant golf pro at Griffin Country Club.
You're like, I'm not going to tell the story, so I was an assistant golf pro at Griffin Country Club. Yep.
And I was like 19, and of course, you get to, knowing people, and then you find there's a bookie.
There's always bookies at golf courses.
Yeah, there's a bookie at the golf course, and, I'm making like $4.75 an hour back in the late 90s, and so I start gambling a little bit, and a little bit comes into a lot, and yeah, I mean, I think it's good to share stories because I may be able to change somebody's gambling.
That's right.
Gambling.
If I had the gambling hotline, I'd tell you right now. That's what I need to get sponsored by.
And
gambling hotline.
There you go.
Please play responsibly.
And so, anyways, I ended up one weekend ended up like maybe $1,000 down.
Whew.
Yeah,
on that $4.75 an hour salary.
Yeah.
That's a little upside down.
And Monday rolls around, the club's closed. Tuesday comes around. Wednesday comes around, and then the bookie shows up and goes, "Yeah, I'm looking for Jay." and it was my day off, and so my phone starts ringing. It's like, hey man, you got that $1,000? And I go, I don't even have anything close to that. I mean, I maybe have like 60. And so the word got around that he was going to search me down and break my legs, like legitimately. Yeah. And a 19-year-old, man, I'm shaking in my shoes. And so my golf pro at the time like pulled me into his office and was like, look, dude, like this is not good. Like you're an employee of the club here, and we got one of our members trying to get after you as far as breaking your legs. Like what can we do here? And so anyways, we sat down as three of us in a meeting and we figured it out.
Talked it out.
We talked it out.
Everybody's legs were still working after that.
Yeah. So
it's a life lesson.
Let's just say a few of his guests ended up playing at no charge for a little bit.
I was about to say, like, how did this get ironed out?
Say, hey, pro, I'm going to need $1,000 worth of comp guest fees, please.
Yeah.
Couple months of no dues.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That pro's now up in Michigan. Hopefully he's not listening right now. But
hopefully he is.
Or yeah.
And if you are, give us a call.
There you go.
850-215-6290.
But it's what you learn at an early age. Like now, now I'm on DraftKings and like I bet $1.
Hey, look, we saw you the other day when we were talking. I saw you with the card out. I'm assuming you were reloading your DraftKings.
I was.
Yeah, when in Rome. We were listening to Keith, so it makes sense.
Yeah. So having said all that, I need a bookie.
I think you can, if you were still in, I think Tennessee, Georgia. Can you bet legally in Georgia?
No.
But you can in Tennessee.
No.
Tennessee is legal.
Yeah. So now you don't even need a bookie. You just pop on the old www and lose all your money that way.
There was a rumor going around during COVID that they were going to kind of make Atlanta Motor. Atlanta Motor Speedway has been kind of struggling a little bit before the redo. Now it's a little super speedway up there, but there was rumors going around that they were going to make that a casino up at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Is it connected to a body of water on a river?
No. No, but they were going to pass it through Senate and all that kind of stuff if gambling was allowed in Georgia, but no gambling's allowed in Georgia. Georgia's a very strict state with a lot of They
call those the blue laws?
I guess so.
Even the club I was at in South Carolina prior to coming down to Bay Point in Edgefield County, no alcohol service on Sunday.
Really?
Yep, even during Masters Week.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a tough one to explain to people.
Yeah.
Hey, come pay $350 to play a round of golf, and you can't buy booze.
Yeah.
We found ways to make it work.
Well, I mean, I remember visiting here when
Gatorade and vodka mix well together.
There you go. I remember visiting here when I was 21, and I turned 21 on a Sunday, and I remember like purchasing alcohol at you could purchase it at noon. But you couldn't purchase it anywhere in Georgia on Sunday, and I thought that was just like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, man, I'm purchasing alcohol on Sunday. Like,
yeah, I mean that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
blue laws.
Yeah,
so places wouldn't open. It's crazy.
Yeah,
and it was crazy because the county next to us, Aiken County, you can do whatever you want. But Edgefield County was an older county, kind of those older laws, and some people were very confused.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. I wonder if that still exists. I don't know. That was a while ago.
Yeah,
2014 and earlier. Probably still does.
But there was a day when Sunday, man, you couldn't find anything open on Sunday. I mean, do you remember those days, Ron?
Oh, yeah. They weren't that long ago.
They weren't that
Especially
long
in
ago.
the, right there in South Kakalaki, there was a lot of stuff not open on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. It was like, hey, man, if you got to go somewhere on, if you need it for Sunday, you better grab it on Saturday. That's for sure.
Yep. Or drive to another county.
Yeah, right. There you go.
I know Alabama has a lot of that same kind of stuff as well, and makes putting a liquor store on the border of a county very profitable.
Yeah,
kind of like the fireworks situation. Mm-hmm. Although I did find out you can get them here in Florida now.
Yes, you
found that from DJ Davy Crockett behind the glass, which was cool. I didn't buy any. You kind of told me where to go.
Oh, fireworks.
Yes, not booze. You can buy booze wherever you want here in Bay County. There's no blue laws, and you can stay out. I think it's 4 a.m. The bars can serve booze, too. So
that's way too
That's
early.
another thing, too. Like, a lot of places will shut it down, at midnight and stuff like that and not let you go. Nothing good ever happens after 12 anyway.
No, that's what Mom and Dad always told me.
But you stayed out after 12 a few times, didn't you?
I have, and there's nothing good from it.
Nothing, though?
Never.
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 Not one thing you can
Not
think
one
of?
thing.
I don't know. I agree with the sentiment, but I've had some pretty good things happen after 12 o'clock.
Come on, David. Let's go.
No, I can't.
No, yeah,
I cannot divulge.
This is FCC Airways, that's for sure. But I don't know if you saw, Monahan came out with a memo ahead of the 3M Open this particular week, talking about a few points. He obviously went into a medical situation prior to the Open, and he stepped down for a while, including with the hearing. And then, he came back. A lot of players wanted him to resign. But some of those key things is they're getting people together, and they're working on initiatives for a player benefit program to compensate those who remained on the tour, player discipline for LIV Golf members seeking to return, and a task force to deal with those particular sanctions that the LIV golfers could face. What do you think about that? Anybody?
It's a mess.
It is. It really is.
Why I don't understand why they would want to punish the guys that did go at this point. And at the same time, I don't know how you sit there and reward the guys that stayed. I mean, they made a decision and times changed.
Right.
So, I mean, I get the frustration from a lot of the guys that did stay, but
they had the same opportunity as everybody else to leave.
Correct.
And obviously they were all told if they left, they're banned from the tour and all that stuff, which now that's obviously there's a way to get back on the PGA Tour, but with some potential sanctions or whatever. So,
yeah, I was listening to Hale this morning. They were talking a little bit about the transfer portal.
Okay.
And
So they were talking about golf? What?
No, but this, and I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but the transfer portal, and I guess like the players will have 3 years that they have to actually like sit. They're trying to pass that where you can't transfer in year one. So is that what?
I'm laughing at David.
What's it?
I can't. It has nothing to do with you.
Oh, okay.
It's for the break, man. He's got some commercials to cut.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
That's also not true. Finish your story. We got a break coming up.
No, so
Sorry.
anyway, it's just people jump,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
What, like sit tight and just kind of see how things kind of play out.
Let me ask you this, Jay Bird. You're loyal to Bay Point. You've been back with us for a while.
Yeah.
Somebody comes in and said, okay, I'll give you come teach. I'm going to offer you $25 million to come teach with us. What are you doing? See ya. Mine where yours is going.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to think about it.
BS, you'd have to think about it.
How long of a thought is this? Like, would you actively be pondering?
Actively be pondering. Hey, man, anytime I've chased money in my life, I'm just being real, dude.
Real.
I'm being real. Anytime I've chased money in my life, it's come back and bit me right in the rear end.
There you go.
I'm just being for real.
Except when you were chasing those gambling debts when you were at that club.
There you go.
It almost came back. It did. It came back to bite you, but you got out of it. So
there you
that was good. Lesson learned.
So
that brings me to Mbappe, who is reportedly turned down. Did you hear? I'm sure you heard about it. Did you hear about it, Jay?
No.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So he was offered basically $1.1 billion to go play for a Saudi soccer club. Roughly $750 million for 1 year. The rest of that was to pay off PSG and the contract that he had with there. He's reportedly turning it down, but he's 24 years old. Obviously, Messi turned down the same kind of opportunity. I don't know if I think Ronaldo turned down the same opportunity.
No, he's there.
That's right. He went. He's like, screw y'all, I'm going. Anyway, Lionel Messi, they love South Beach. He's older. He's got kids. Didn't want to go out there, but reportedly he's turning it down. He's about to sign with, I want to say it was Real Madrid or something like that. But yeah, I mean, $750 for 1 year. You go over there for 1 year, you play soccer for 1 year, and you can do whatever you want after that. $750 million. What are you doing?
I mean, I guess I take it. I mean,
It's the same point to the LIV guys.
Yeah.
And that's like what Dustin Johnson said. He was very candid in the full swing thing. He was very candid about it. Dustin's not like one of these guys like, oh, it's better for the game of golf, yada, yada, yada. He's like, if I get to do the exact same job I'm doing now, but work less and get paid significantly more, he said, tell me one person that wouldn't do that.
Right.
Well, what are the repercussions of him going over there? Is there
that he's gone to Saudi Arabia and everybody thinks the Saudis are disrupting all sports in the world and the human crimes and all that stuff? But then you hear LeBron tweet out right after that came out. He's like, hey, you guys need a basketball league over there? I'll take $750 million. But all these LIV guys, they're, anti-American and all that stuff, according to you, Jay. So the hypocrisy grows deep in a lot of people. So,
It's just the integrity of golfers. That's what it comes
yeah,
down to.
yeah. Some have integrity. A lot don't. They cheat. When we get back, I got some articles on that. We got a break coming up here, and you're listening to the Inside Drive here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents The Blast at Bay Point. Listen to Win Your Tee Time at the legendary Bay Point Golf Club in beautiful Panama City Beach.
You ready to play some high-low?
I'm going to try.
Listen weekdays at 8:40, 12:40, and 5:40 to play high-low for a chance to win 18 holes at Bay Point Golf Club.
I tell you what, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it.
Listen to Win the Blast at Bay Point from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. The SUV family has movement that inspires, and we invite you to test drive the new 2023 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. You can command the road in a sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Drive away today in a new 2023 Rio, Forte, K5, or Stinger, and discover the all-new Kia at Bill Bird Kia. 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. Peace of mind you can trust at your local community dealer, Bill Bird Kia.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe. Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors, with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day.
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
You hear it first. Sports talk right now. Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
I know it seems a bit overwhelming at first.
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
Something makes me think you'll get used to it.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Mike Jones. It's your jam. You took your hat off? I feel uncomfortable now. At least you got your headphones on the right way today.
Yes, I do.
No, it wasn't completely your fault. Those things really flip back and forth.
They do.
So I'll give you some credit.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. Did you guys see the story about Eric Van Rooyen? His caddy ended up Monday qualifying for the 3M championship, and he's in, so he needed to get his own caddy, and then they got paired together. How crazy is that?
That is
really cool.
That's a neat golf story, that's for sure. Yeah, but he was playing, and his regular caddy, Alex Geigert, if I said that appropriately or correctly, Monday qualified, and then the guys making the pairings just had to be like, ooh, let's have some fun with this one, and then paired them together. Be interesting to see what they both shoot.
Now, if Eric misses the cut and then he backs around and caddies for him, that would be an amazing story.
That would be fantastic.
That'd be cool.
That's for sure. I'm going to look up and see if they...
You see that a lot happen in amateur golf.
Yeah.
Like, we'll all go to these tournaments, and then, your buddy will miss the cut, and he'll come get on your bag for the rest of the week, which is always a little bit weird, but at the same time, it's pretty cool.
That's cool, man. Yeah. What, you got a buddy of yours that does that?
No, I mean, just in general.
Yeah.
Every tournament it happens over the summer.
I got you.
And, guys are all up there for a week at a time, and they've got nowhere to go because they're going straight to the next tournament. And so they've got 2 days to basically just kill time, and they hop on the bag.
Yeah. You learn a lot from that side of the
sure.
Yeah. So, it's cool, man.
That just shows you there's a lot of, as you guys know, really good golfers that are caddies.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's required. I wouldn't say required, but it certainly helps when you're a better golfer when you're caddying, I would say, for relating and that kind of stuff.
You think Fluff was a good player? I don't know if you remember Fluff.
Poker, probably.
Probably poker, yeah.
I don't know. You never know. He could have been a sneaky guy out there. That's for sure.
He seems like one of those guys that would like smoke you up a good brisket.
Probably.
Fluff. Yeah.
What do I strike you as? Not brisket.
Not brisket.
Just curious.
You could probably change my oil in my truck probably pretty good.
That is about as far away from me as you could get. I have to drive somewhere to have somebody change my oil.
I got the same here.
That kind of stuff, you're brought up. You're either brought up in that direction or you're brought up in a different direction. And changing oil and building things is not my cup of tea.
Same here. And
you got to search it up, though. Search it up.
That's true. That's true.
But the beauty...
I have been doing that a lot more lately. I changed my pool filters all by myself.
The beauty of it is you recognize it. I think there's a bunch of people in this world that does not recognize that.
I could do that.
And I'll be glad to tell you that I can't change oil in my truck. But I guess what? I can find somebody who can.
That's right.
I know somebody.
And don't make me feel like less of a person because I can't.
Absolutely. I bet
you can't throw a pigskin 60 yards on a dime.
There you go.
So
exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, we're talking about integrity and golfers being. It was perfect for this story coming up. Didn't know if you saw this particular story as well. You might have. I always say you might have because I know Jay didn't see it. But a PGA Tour Canada event had an investigation whether Justin Doden had changed his scorecard after it was signed in last week's Commissioner's Ottawa Open. The 28-year-old pro took to Twitter on Monday and confirmed that he in fact had cheated. He said, "I'm here to confess the biggest," and you hear golfers making mistakes, but this is one where it's straight down like what David Hayes talks about with those erasers. "I'm here to confess of the biggest mistake I have made in my life to date. I cheated in golf. This is not who I am. I let my sponsors down. I let my competitors down. I let my family down. I let myself down. I pray for your forgiveness." He withdrew from the tournament after playing his second round on Friday when questions arose regarding his score on the 18th hole at Eagle Creek Golf Club. Earlier that afternoon, a report came from Ryan French at the Monday qualifier. A player who competed with Doden during that round noticed the leaderboard listed Doden with a score of 3 under for the tournament. That would indicate an opening round of 68. Doden shot a second round 71. However, that player watched Doden finish with what he thought was a 73 after making a 7 on the par 5 home hole. The player questioning the score approached tournament officials who eventually pulled the card, and then according to the story, when officials looked at the card, they noticed a 7 on the 18th hole had been erased and put a 5.
And this is a Monday qualifier for a Canadian Tour?
No, this was during...
It was during the thing. The reporting was called the Monday Q, that's where that came from.
Great account to follow, by the way.
Yeah.
Is it?
Monday qualifier, Monday Q. Awesome.
Yeah.
We got a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on that don't necessarily get out there. But what do you think about that?
That's insanity.
Right?
Yeah. Like,
and you see people, the Patrick Reed stuff,
right,
grounding his ball in the bunker and all the stuff. He did shave strokes in college. I know that for a fact. But not in tournaments, but in qualifying tournaments. But what do you think about that?
I mean, I don't know much about the Canadian Tour. I know
it's just another development.
Yeah, tour. But I would assume probably not like the PGA Tour where there's a person on every hole with stats and somebody putting stats in computers and stuff like that. But I'm sure every 3 holes, I'm sure there's somebody.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember when I brought my buddy Harrison down.
I do.
He's playing up in Canada.
Okay.
So you go through qualifying in March, and then I've got a bunch of college buddies that are up there playing, and it's certainly not the Korn Ferry Tour or the PGA Tour, but there's guys up there that are very, very good golfers, and they run those tournaments pretty good from what I've heard. So, surprising event and very unfortunate. You hate to hear something like that happening, and obviously, I don't know the guy who did it, but he obviously probably feels very, very bad about it, and it's just an unfortunate situation. You don't want to see something like that ever happen. You don't want to be involved in a situation like that, and it'll probably be a little bit of a long road back for him, but he'll get through it, and he'll have guys around him that'll push him along and help him get back where he needs to be.
Now, is he been kind of kicked out of the Canadian Tour indefinitely?
Didn't say anything about the repercussions and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be some kind of fine or something like that.
Yeah.
It says a violation of the rules of golf is handled in accordance with the PGA Tour Canadian Player Handbook and tournament regulations. As per tour policy, the matter and any related disciplinary action will be handled internally.
Yeah.
Which is exactly how the PGA Tour does. I mean, they fine people constantly for all sorts of stuff, but it's not like the NFL where they're like, oh, guy's been fined, $2.5 million for a league substance abuse policy.
Yeah.
It's like the Vijay Singh and the deer antler spray stuff. That was probably the most notable out there kind of things. But
it kind of ties back into what you were saying earlier, though, about nothing good ever happens from chasing money. And with these guys up there in Canada, they're not making a lot of money. Now, if you get on a little hot streak up there, you can make some money. But guys that are fighting to make cuts, you're fighting to make a paycheck for the week,
right?
And it's tough.
Yeah. Well, I know you had an instance, and I may have spoke on it a few weeks ago. I hope you're okay with it.
Oh, yeah.
You already said it on the air.
I already said it on the air. But
and it was an act of integrity.
It was an act of integrity. And, do you want to just share kind of what had happened with that?
Yeah, it was the Florida State Open qualifier a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't playing too good. I was, I think, 1 over going into 17, and knew I needed to make a couple birdies coming in to have a chance, and thought it was doable, but they had converted the course from a par 72 to a par 70, and the qualifier wasn't even supposed to be there. We had gotten rained out in Pensacola, so they had moved it over to Rocky Bayou up in Niceville. And long story short, there was general play going on, and then they had this qualifier. We started around noon, so there were people playing ahead of us. And the Florida State Golf Association had set tee markers out, like they always do, I'm assuming, for their tournaments. And the guy I was playing with, we were playing a twosome, and he realized that we were playing number 17 as a par 4, and it's typically a par 5, and didn't think anything about it other than, man, that's going to be a long par 4. I better just get up there and poke one.
Yeah.
And so I got up there on 17, stuck my tee in the ground, teed off from the tee box I played in the practice round, and the tee markers had been moved up the tee box.
Wow.
So I played from the wrong tee box, recognized it, had to take a 2-shot penalty, and moved on. Ended up making birdie on my second ball to save bogey, and then birdied 18 and missed by 2 shots. So,
man,
stinger, but at the same time, you don't know if you don't take that penalty, if you're still going to finish birdie, because that's what it was going to take anyways. So
right.
You never know, but...
Well, I'm a firm believer of when you do right by yourself and others, that comes back around to you for sure, whether that's through, God or through karma or whatever you believe in. I just think, you have opportunities all the time to make little decisions, and, sometimes decisions are tough and they have bad repercussions for you on a different level, but on the overall greater picture, I'm sure that'll come back to you in a very positive way.
Have you ever, in all your years of playing, have you ever dealt with anything like what we talked about with the Canadian Tour? I mean, have you?
I haven't, and I'm sure going back to like middle school and high school golf, there was some of that.
Yeah.
Now I don't remember any of it off the top of my head, but I think most guys that are playing golf, it is a game of integrity, and I think most people do a pretty good job of honoring that. Now, that's not to say that there's smaller things along the line of guys wanting to get a drop in a spot that they probably shouldn't get a drop, then this and that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we don't have to deal with any of that, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think golf is, especially from a recreational standpoint, it's the easiest thing to cheat.
Right.
Where, and you see it constantly.
Yeah.
Especially just on the recreational level with the guys groups and the girls groups. Like, oh, my ball's on the root. Yeah, I'm just going to move it off. Oh, I'm in a divot. I'll just take it out. And then when they go play, when they have to play their ball down all the way through, they usually shoot way higher than normal because
performance anxiety.
Well, you're cheating yourself too.
And you're cheating yourself.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I shot an 80, but if I would have played it down, I would have shot an 89.
Right.
And then that goes in your handicap, and then when you play in a handicap event, your handicap's way too low, so you never achieve well.
Yeah.
Now, and you have the opposite side of that too, where people on purpose miss putts or, oh, no, I had an 8 on that, not a 6. Going the opposite way, and then the people they're playing with don't care because they're probably trying to beat them, and then it bolsters, and that's where the term sandbagging comes
from. That takes a level of dedication that is unmatched to a sandbag like that.
That's true.
Because you've got to get a lot of rounds in there that are not what you actually shot for it to really make a difference.
And then you do it, and then you get busted, and then all that hard work goes right out the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sandbagging.
And there's one at every club. It seems
sometimes more than one. And that's why, especially at private clubs, the handicap committee is so important.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize, especially in the golf business, it's not the club that is the handicap committee. It's actually the members of the handicap club at that club that are supposed to be the ones governing that.
Yeah.
Because, the pros, they got enough to do, but to be governed, and people are supposed to be posting their scores. And I know, like at where I was at prior to coming back to Bay Point, we had a software program where if somebody didn't they would recognize on the tee sheet when they played, and if they didn't post a score from that round within 24 hours, they got an automated message that said, please post your score.
There you go.
I'm in such a bad habit of not doing that. I couldn't tell you the last time I posted a score.
Well, when you're a +4, you're okay. You're good.
It still matters though. Every time I go somewhere, they're like, "What's your handicap?" I was like, "I don't know, +4, +5, somewhere in there."
Right. Yeah.
Maybe better, maybe worse. Depends on the day.
Yeah. Well, I had one at Sea Island. I don't know. Hank Ream was his name. I remember him.
Just calling him out.
Calling him out, man. You would get a member guest, send off. Back then, it was an actual mail-in invite to a
lot
member
of clubs
guest.
still do that.
Yeah.
When I played at Santa Rosa, I got one.
Yeah.
It was cool.
See, I think that's special. A personal touch.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't get any letters nowadays.
But that phone, to take 3 days for the mail to get out, right? And then you knew about the third day the membership start calling. Who's all signed? Is Hank Ream signed up for that member guest? Because if he is, I'm not playing.
Yep, there you go. Come on, Hank.
Yeah, come on,
David,
Hank.
we there? Top of the hour? All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back with some afternoon delight right here on the Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The tradition continues.
That ball is going to be out of here.
America's team plays here.
Bombs away.
Atlanta Braves are back and making a statement.
Ronald Acuna just clobbered one to left.
Listen to Atlanta Braves baseball in a rich audio experience live on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Here comes the thunder.
Sponsored by Billbird Kia, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, Stormore Portable Buildings, and Brock Pest Control.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Thursday. A possibility of thunderstorms and partly cloudy the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest at 9 miles per hour and temps near 89. We will have partly cloudy skies tonight and be warm at 78. And partly sunny and a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and a high 88. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Shopping for a garage, portable building, cabin? We build them anywhere from 8 to 16 foot wide, 10 feet to 60 feet long. We can do insulation, electricity, transom dormers, thermal windows. Come, let's customize a building together. Rick Vossen, Stormore portable building dealer, Panama City.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. The SUV family has movement that inspires, and we invite you to test drive the new 2023 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. You can command the road in a sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Drive away today in a new 2023 Rio, Forte, K5, or Stinger, and discover the all-new Kia at Bill Bird Kia, 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. Peace of mind you can trust at your local community dealer, Bill Bird Kia.
Coming in hot.
So hot.
It'll be a hot one. Really hot. Goddamn.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inside. I'm not going to do the slow dramatic voice today. I know it just doesn't feel right. I'm too amped up today.
Are you?
And you know why I'm amped up today?
Yes, I do.
We got a big game coming up tonight. It's the 4th and 5th grade summer flag football division championship.
Yes, sir.
Us versus the Patriots. We've lost 2 games to the Patriots, but I think David's got a little clip that he's going to play for us here real quick. So I'm excited about tonight. That's for sure.
Are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here tonight, boys. That's what you've earned here tonight. One game. If we played them 10 times, they might win 9. But not this game. Not tonight. Tonight, we skate with them. Tonight, we stay with them.
They start talking about hockey, obviously, but and that's a real speech on what and who's I forget the actor's name. Kurt Russell just did a fantastic job in that movie. I don't know if you've seen Miracle or not.
Some of it.
Yeah, it's fun to watch the movie and then to watch the actual game kind of back and forth because it's almost to a T what happened in that game. But one of the largest upsets, in the entire sports world that's ever happened. The 1980 U.S. Hockey team made up of a bunch of amateur college hockey players going against the Soviets obviously this is a little dramatic, but it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's the beauty of sports is, it can be a team that's, way better or just tougher, but you got to play the game. And,
right.
You can play them a bunch of times, like Coach Brooks said. We'll play them 10 times, we'll lose 9. But there's that one game. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for tonight with Dynasty. So we're going to get them fired up, and hopefully I'm not getting the other team fired up if they're listening. But all that good stuff. So that brings me to we've talked about it before, but wanted to run through some of these and get y'all's opinions if you remember it and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to jump into the biggest upsets in sports history, and this is actually a recent article, which I'm impressed with myself because sometimes I pull articles from like 2012 and 2013, and it's a little embarrassing. We'll go through some of the fast ones real quick because 2006, the Edmonton Oilers beat the Detroit Red Wings in the NHL playoffs. It was the first leg of a great Cinderella run in Stanley Cup history. They didn't end up not winning the Cup. They were the 8th seed that year, and they took down the Detroit Red Wings in that first round series, and Detroit was a powerhouse at that point, too. But we'll skip over that one, Jay, because it's hockey. But you said, Michael, you played hockey a little bit.
I did for a little while. It's awesome.
There you go. See, it's a great sport.
Yeah. I'm not knocking it.
Played ice hockey my whole life growing up.
Do they have an ice rink down here?
No.
Too hot?
It's just there's not enough people I think that would go to it to justify the expense of keeping your ice frozen, in this kind of heat.
Yeah.
Now, like Tampa, St. Pete, Orlando, they got rinks all over the place. I know the nearest hockey team is over there in Pensacola. You got the Ice Flyers. They do pretty good. Is that I think it's the ECHL. Not 100%.
For which team?
The Pensacola Ice Flyers.
I think it's the SPHL.
The SPHL. When I was in the Augusta area, they had the Augusta Lynx, LYNX.
Oh, yeah.
But also a play on the Augusta National, the Lynx golf course. But yeah, they were Cats. They did good. They weren't great. They fought a lot. And that's the thing about minor league hockey is you have such a disparity between skill level. So there's a lot of fights. And that's why NHL, you really don't see that much stuff anymore because everybody's so good.
They had one in Macon called Making Love.
Ooh.
Yep, Making Love.
That's a good name.
Yep.
For that team.
Yep.
Did they play in the afternoons?
They played. They did.
Afternoon delight.
Yeah, they played the Lynx too. I remember them.
The Augusta Lynx. Yeah, they didn't. We went to a few of those games.
How good of a name is that, though? Making Love.
Yeah. MACONLOVE, or is it LUV?
LOV.
What was the logo on their shirt?
I don't know.
The jersey.
I never attended the game.
They had an alternate uniform that they only wore on certain days. That was the under 8 or over 18 only night.
There you go.
I didn't know. Did you have something, David?
I don't even know I'm a mic, so I
thought you were going to say something. So making
bacon. I mean, they have that team that plays against the Savannah Bananas.
They do.
Yeah,
a little different,
but I like.
Have y'all been to a Bananas game? Have you been to a Savannah Bananas game?
I used to go to the Cardinals game back in the 90s, but I have not been to a Bananas game.
Thanks for telling us.
Have you been?
No, but I've seen so much about it. It's crazy.
Cool.
But
to go.
It's real baseball.
Yeah.
Like they're playing to try to win.
Yeah.
But there's guys up there on stilts.
Yeah, they have things that are scripted, but it has nothing to do with the game. And I think that's so cool. Like you got the fans, if they catch a fly ball, that counts as an out. And they actually have other that's when they're playing banana ball, but they also play real baseball as well.
So they don't do that every game.
I think. I would have to look deeper into exactly how that schedule plays out. But yeah, when they're playing those rules and stuff, they call it banana ball.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too, Michael. I was like, whoa, these guys are actually playing real baseball, but I think they had these little clown games, like, hey, this don't count.
Banana ball.
Yeah, banana ball. Yeah.
Banana ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, brilliant marketing strategy, and their games are
like Live.
always sold out.
Kinda like
Not
Live.
really. No.
There's a
not at all.
large population of people in my grad program in Athens that wanted to go down there and work or have worked for them.
Yeah. Not only are you bringing fans, you're probably players are wanting to play, people are wanting to work for the organization. It was just brilliant. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, in the day of social media and TikTok and all that stuff, it's so easy to get your stuff out there, and when people see that, they just share it like crazy. So, well, the next one we'll just was Notre Dame football in 1957. They beat Oklahoma. Was that the kind of the Rudy era? So I'm asking you because you're a huge Rudy fan.
I am.
Oklahoma was on a 47-game winning streak, the country's longest by a mile, when they hosted the struggling Fighting Irish team that entered just 4-2. They proceeded to shut out the Sooners on their own field. It stood as OU's only loss of the year and was likely prevented the program from winning its third consecutive AP national championship.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, David.
So now, starting this year, it will be completely banana ball. They will not field a team in the Coastal Plains League, and that's where they would play their regular baseball. So they've done that for the last 6 years, but now it's going to be completely banana ball, and they call them themselves the world famous baseball circus. And so they're going to go on tour and stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah. Like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, put in baseball. That's a great analogy. That's good stuff. Louisville basketball beat Baylor back in the NCAA tournament in 2013. The number 1 seed, Baylor, had Brittany Griner. Obviously, everybody knows who she is. And they were widely expected to romp to the Final Four and perhaps a natty when the 5 seed Louisville was a nondescript underdog. And they ended up beating them. And Louisville made 15 of 20 3-pointers to win that game 82-81 in the Sweet 16 meeting. Next, you guys can relate to this one, especially Jay, when Y.E. Yang beat Tiger Woods in the 2009 PGA Championship.
Ooh.
Remember that one?
I do not remember that one, actually.
How do you not remember that?
I know.
It was in a playoff, wasn't it?
It was, I don't know if it was in a playoff or not. Entering Sunday, Woods was 14 for 14. That was when he held the lead 54 holes in a major. He had won 14. And then after that Sunday, he was 14 for 15. I remember, I don't think it was in a play. It doesn't say, but I remember him hitting that hybrid on 18 that ended up sealing the deal for Y.E. Yang. So, but that was at Hazeltine, which is what Coach Whitworth was talking about earlier. So, huge upset. I know Jay remembers this one, the Chicago White Sox over the Cubs in the 1906 World Series. You remember that one like it was yesterday?
Yeah, I do.
Next, you had the New York Yankees over the Seattle Mariners in the American Division Series back in 2001. The 0-1 Mariners set an American League record by winning 116 games, tying the Chicago Cubs for the all-time record. And then it was obviously a very, very dominant ball club, but the Yankees got in the way. They ended up winning that series 4-1 and kind of shocked the world on that one. I don't know if you remember that, Jay, or not. This one, obviously, everybody remembers. It's 19th on the list. I'll move a little faster here in a second. New England Patriots over the St. Louis Rams in Super Bowl 36. The greatest show on turf.
Yeah.
Got beat by the Rook, Tom Brady. That wasn't his first year. That was his second year. But you were texting us about Bledsoe last night.
Oh, yeah. And then I saw the hit that one of the Jets guys gave him, and man, I don't think he's been right since.
Well, it ended up, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, it lacerated some kind of internal organ that they didn't realize, and they got him to the hospital in time and all that. Number 18, the Philadelphia Eagles over the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl back in 2018. That was the one where Nick Foles came in, I believe, in backup of in Carson Wentz. Hadn't been the same ever since. Yeah. So Philadelphia Flyers over the Boston Bruins in the 1974 Stanley Cup Finals. Again, another one you remember, Jay, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the Bruins were, the best in the early 70s, and that was a huge upset. Another one, Argentina men's basketball team over the United States in the Summer Olympics back in 2004.
Oh, that was the dream team.
I don't know.
Was it Dream Team?
That one had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Tim Duncan, and AI. They lost 89-81 to that's when Manu Ginobili was on the Argentina team. It was a serious loss to the Prestige. The pain didn't start to fade until the Redeem team came back in Beijing. Beijing was in 2008. That's crazy how quickly that came back. Another 2008, the Fresno State men's baseball team. It's not over anybody particular. They won the College World Series that year, just on a very, very improbable run. Number 14, Texas football over USC in the BCS National Championship. I can remember that one like it was yesterday. You had Vince Young come out, took the snap, and he had that zone right and was wide open to the end zone, and the rest is history. Hadn't played football since. Nah, he has, but not very well. Right. It's just another college guy. College guy winning he won the Heisman that year, right? Yes?
I did not.
Yeah. Or was that the year Leinart won it? Because Bush won it the first year, I think, because like deja vu. We've had
we just had, and Bush won it the year that they that they lost to Texas.
Okay.
And I'll double check this again, but I'm pretty sure whenever I searched it up for us last time, that was
so. Leinart won the first one, and then Bush won the second one, and they lost because the previous year they beat Oklahoma, just drummed them in the national championship. I just remember watching that. The University of Maryland Baltimore College a couple years ago, 5 years ago, beat Virginia in that NCAA tournament. I remember that one as well. It was a huge upset in that first round. Harvard women's basketball over Stanford in 1998. That was a 16-1. Doesn't happen very often at all in either one, but huge upset for them. Howard football over UNLV back in 2017. Another big one. Villanova men's basketball over Georgetown in the NCAA tournament in 1985. You probably do remember that one,
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
NBC.
CBS?
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking NBC. Yeah. Probably.
CBS,
I mean, you only had two channels back then. So
that's true.
We're 50-50.
CBS has been doing college basketball for a while. They might not have been back then. That was the year I was born, so I don't really know. Right. Pittsburgh Pirates over the New York Yankees in the 1960 World Series. There you go. Upset the Yankees. This one is recent, and I was sharing it with Bill earlier. The Florida Panthers over the Boston Bruins in the 2023 NHL playoffs. That's why I said this is a recent list, because this is from a few months ago.
Yeah.
The Bruins set the record all-time for most wins in a season, most points in a season. Not only was it a huge upset by the 8 seed, who barely made the playoffs because Pittsburgh had to kind of collapse down the end for them to make it, but Boston had a 3-1 series lead in that playoff series, and ended up losing to that, as Bill dubbed them, the House Money Cats, who made a run all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, but couldn't get past those Vegas Knights, and well-deserved for the Vegas Knights. Los Angeles Dodgers over the Oakland Athletics in the World Series in 1988. Here's another good one. Francis Ouimet over Harry Vardon and Ted Ray in the 1913 U.S. Open. They made a movie about that one.
Legend of Bagger. Is that Legend of Bagger?
It's
greatest game ever played.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah.
Another good one. But yeah, that was massive. I mean, those guys just came out of nowhere as an amateur. He had a 10-year-old on his bag was one of the crazy things about that.
What was it, Eddie Lowry?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yes, yeah. I got to watch that movie again. That's a fantastic one.
Yeah, there's a lot of good movies.
Now, is that the one that was in Savannah? Is what that was filmed in Savannah? I can't remember.
I think that was Legend of Bagger Vance.
Okay, Legend, yeah.
Because it was one of the ocean courses that they filmed the golf scenes on. You know, when he's playing that round in the dark and all that in the open.
Yeah. Wee Bobby.
The New York Jets over the Baltimore Colts back in Super Bowl III, 1969. Believe that was the one where Joe Namath had basically said, we're going to win that game. And they did. The Colts were a dominant... David pops his head up like chicken head. I think he's going to say something.
Chicken head.
What? They had Colts had a 13-1 record, and Johnny Unitas is the quarterback. The Jets represented the upstart American Football League, which would later merge with the National Football League in 1970 to form the modern NFL. The Jets had a young, brash quarterback named Joe Namath. Played at Alabama, right? Yep, played at Alabama. And he basically had a press conference before the game and said that they were going to win, and they backed up that talk with a 16-7 victory over there. You remember Joe Namath in that one interview with Susie Colbert when he was just absolutely bombed, and he's like, Susie, you look so pretty. If you haven't watched that, you need to.
I just remember when Joe Namath made a special appearance on the Brady Bunch back in the day. That was great. Yeah. Did you watch the Brady Bunch?
Probably not as much as you did.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
It was kind of coming out when I was coming in. It's probably in your heyday.
Yeah.
It was Nick at Night when I was growing up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It was more like Are You Afraid of the Dark and those kind of things. Remember that? Did you ever watch that?
I remember that one. Yeah.
There's a couple other ones too. Clarissa Explains It All.
Yeah. I didn't watch that one though.
No?
No.
Come on.
Double Dare. I watched Double Dare on Nickelodeon.
Yep, they need to bring that back.
Man, they do.
I think they did for like a year or something, but...
So I was thinking the other day, we were talking about American Gladiators.
Of course.
All right, so I'm randomly flipping through the channels the other day and come across Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wow.
Now, I think the American Gladiator dude that created that event was sitting on his couch back in the early 80s, and he's watching the Running Man, and he's like, man, I got to make a TV show.
I think it actually went as he was at those coal miner competitions, the family picket competitions. I think that's how it was actually born.
Yeah, that's what he says, but...
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was. We'll get him on the horn and see if he was watching Running Man, and he's like, I need to make a TV show. Could have been. Could have been lying this whole time.
I was going to throw out this is so random, but I wanted to throw out this fact before I had to get on the lesson to you this afternoon.
Yeah.
So I found this, and this is golf related, just real quick.
That's
I know.
fair.
But in 1980, if you finished 125th as a player on the PGA Tour, on the money list, you earned $19,000 before expenses.
Yeah.
In 1980, the median household income was $21,000. Okay, so it's right there in line.
Yep.
All right. Last year on the PGA Tour, 125th place got you $1,026,000. Last year's median household income was $87,000. $87,000. I mean, think about the difference.
Oh yeah, the gap. What do you think that's attributed to?
And I think that's why.
What was the first year you said?
It was $19,000 that the guy made.
No. What was the year?
Oh,
Sorry.
1980.
1980. Okay, so 43 years ago.
I honestly, there's so much money out there, right? I think that's one of the reasons why the fields are so much deeper today than they were back then.
Yeah.
That's why.
A lot more money to be made.
Yeah. So I wanted to leave you with that thought.
Yeah.
What do you think 125 is right now?
It's set. I mean, this stat says $1,026,000 is what they typically make. On the money list.
You've got the actual money list right
125 is $877,000 to date.
So that's going to play out about.
Oh yeah, about right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's TV sponsorship deals. It's the Tiger boom. It's there's so many more people. I mean, it's just the means to watch it. 1980 was golf even televised?
Yeah, good question.
You know.
You couldn't see the white ball. You couldn't even see the ball because of the fuzziness on the TV.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Then you've got Scheffler making almost $1 million to start this year.
$1 million to start. Yeah,
insane.
I mean, I think he's played low 20s events and he's made just over $19 million.
Yep. But when you finish like in the top 10 almost every time you tee it up, that's gonna pay you well. That's for sure.
When do you think the first tournament on TV was?
Ooh, on TV? Mm-hmm. Like the Bob Hope Classic or something like that?
No way.
It's today it's a major.
Ooh.
I mean, it could have been then. I'm just going off of what I see here. Don't be looking, Jay.
I bet it was.
You don't even give me the which is.
It was definitely U.S. Open. Yeah, probably 1920s or 30s.
A little later than that.
I don't know if they had TVs yet in the 20s and the 30s.
Sure they did.
I don't know.
I'm going to say 1962.
A little late.
Little late?
Mm-hmm.
54.
47.
47?
But 1947, that's wild, though.
That is a wild stat. Look what you brought on.
Yeah,
you did so good.
1947. And it was the U.S. Open?
Dang. Yeah. Yep.
Do you think Brandel Chambly, do you think they had a pregame show and everything?
Probably not.
No.
I don't think he was
morning
alive
drive.
yet.
The morning drive.
Yeah. They definitely didn't have the inside drive. I know that.
That's true. Yeah.
Let's see. When were TVs invented? September 7th, 1927.
I was just on that, and they became a mainstay in the 50s.
In the 50s, that's right. You had to be super luxurious to have a TV early on. But yeah.
It's great stuff, man.
Yeah, look what you brought. I'll finish the segment really fast.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just, it was all culminating to get to that one moment is really where I was going. Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue this year in the NCAA tournament. That was a very recognizable one. The one you've been talking about a lot, App State over Michigan back in 2007. The New York Giants over the New England Patriots back in Super Bowl, 52 in 2008. That's the one where the Patriots were trying to go completely undefeated. And who was it? Was it David Tyree? Caught the ball in his helmet, and the rest was history. And ended up winning. And then obviously number one is the U.S. Olympic hockey team over the Soviet Union in the Winter Olympics in 1980. I'd suggest watching Miracle again. And if you can just find the game, watch the game.
Yeah.
Al Michaels and Ken Dryden did a great job calling that game. That is for sure. But yeah, we'll leave you with that. I know you got to get to the lesson T, and we're probably going to talk some football when you leave. So
cool.
Make sure you tune in. You might learn something.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Blast at Bay Point.
Lynn Haven Rob, it's time to play a little high-low.
I'm going to try 69.
You're going to try 69.
That is correct.
Oh, wow. Man, Lynn Haven Rob.
Keep listening to win.
Outstanding. Thanks, guys.
The Blast at Bay Point on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Thursday. A possibility of thunderstorms and partly cloudy the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest at 9 miles per hour and temps near 89. We will have partly cloudy skies tonight and be warm at 78. And partly sunny and a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and a high 88. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas. Loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do. So great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
It's alive! Look alive! We're alive!
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. As always, you can listen to us live and local on 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 along the Forgotten Coast, as well as watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. All you gotta do is search ESPN Northwest Florida, give that like button a click or follow button a click or subscribe, all that good stuff. You can also download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. You just search 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget about South Oak Title and Closing. 4 locations right here in the Florida Panhandle. 1 in Panama City Beach, 38 Destin, and up on Highway 77 in Lynn Haven. As a realtor, you get to choose who you want to close your real estate transaction with, and all the fees are virtually the same. So go to the people that support you, that take care of you, and make sure your deals are done correctly. That's South Oak Title and Closing. Just like that, David. It's just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
I thought I was gonna have. Yeah, there probably is. I thought I was gonna have Jay all week this week.
Yeah, no, and then he just chooses Thursday to dip out on you.
Well, yeah,
be here tomorrow.
Yeah, he's gonna be. He better be here tomorrow.
All right.
But yeah, he said he scheduled a lesson at 12:30. It's like we've been doing this thing. I think this is our 67th Inside Drive or something like that, and he doesn't realize it's 11 to 1.
It's like you're the teacher, brother.
Yeah, you schedule the time.
Exactly. Just say that you've got a previous lesson that's running until at least 1:15. You might be a little bit late, getting there around 1:20 or so. I mean, it takes what? 4 or 5 minutes.
It doesn't take long to get back to Bay Point from here.
Exactly.
That is for sure. And y'all had a winner of the high-low competition, the Blast at Bay Point, on Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday seems to be a special day when it comes to playing a little high-low.
Yeah.
And Lynn Haven Rob with the with the number of TaylorMade GTX putters that were sold at 2 different locations there for Golf Plus.
Yeah, good for Golf Plus.
Yeah.
Those putters rolling out the door.
69 of them. That's a lot of putters.
That's a lot of putters. There's no doubt there. It's a good thing Jay's not here anymore. He wouldn't be able to handle that. Interview request from Scott McClanahan. I don't know who that is, but you might know who it is. Let's talk a little bit about football. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers? Obviously, that was some talk yesterday. Kind of restructured his contract, which shows he's definitely going to be playing football there next year. Took a little less money up front, or a lot less cap hit this year, just under $9 million of a cap hit. $75 million guaranteed. It's a 3-year, $112.5 million contract with the Jets and an average annual salary of $37.5. But this year he'll earn in 2023 he'll earn a base salary of $1.83 and then have a signing bonus of $35 million. So it only really, which is crazy.
It's just like, what? Like, guys, if that's how we're going to beat the salary cap, then why isn't every single one of your players getting a $50 million signing bonus and then just, hey, kid, here, you're making $1 million this year, but you're signing for 52 total or whatever.
Well, and 2, if you go over the salary cap, it's what, just a fine or something like that?
Like a luxury tax.
Okay.
At that point. But, I mean, trying to keep track of all sports salary caps and everything, has my mind back and forth all the time.
It's very confusing, when you really start dialing into these contracts and there's all this money deferred into 26, 27, and 28. But kind of cool to see him, restructure. It sounds like he's enjoying so far being on the Jets, and the fact that Zach Wilson's got a higher amount of that cap hit this year than Aaron Rodgers does is kind of funny.
If they had to actually follow the salary cap, do you think that the parity level in the NFL, which is already great as it is for most seasons, I mean, look at last year, but do you think that if they actually had to follow the salary cap, they couldn't, defer money later on down the road, they had to pay what they had to pay this year, do you think it would be a more competitive league if that's even possible?
Yeah, that's a great question, because you would think, just with the outside optics of it, if you can literally only pay so much money each season, that kind of levels the playing field on what you can pay. But you would think then, at the same token, if the salaries and stuff can only be so much and you have to pay it all when you pay it, the teams that are doing the best, would probably still get those trades. I think you'd see a lot of the same transactional things happening during a season. Maybe the draft picks is a little different scenario but yeah, that's it.
Trade deadline could be a little crazier at that point as well. But yeah, I really just thought of that off the top of my head. But, with Aaron Rodgers doing this, I think it points to he's having a little bit more fun. He might have got stuck in a rut over there in Green Bay, which is kind of easy when you've been at a place for a very long time. So he's going to take the cut here, the pay cut, but he's still making a ton of money. So what's the difference outside
and
of
made a ton of money already? Yep.
Exactly. So, and he looks like the little alien from the green guy from the Jetsons. In that helmet. I don't know if you've seen that meme or not.
Yes, he just needs some little bobber antler, or not antlers, but antennas up there on the top.
But, looking forward to the season, I think the AFC East is going to be a ton of fun to watch. But you look at guys who take these pay cuts and it works out. We look at the guys who are holding out or whatever, and it's like, well, the end is near. Look to Tom Brady. There's a reason why. I mean, you brought up Kylian Mbappe. The $776 million a year that he could have gotten right there from Al Hilal or whatever. And he doesn't take that. Well, had he taken that deal, that's almost... It is double. It's close to triple what Tom Brady made in his entire career. Now, obviously, we're talking different sports. I get that. That's all good and all. But just to think, Tom Brady made $336 million. Now, endorsements, all of that.
Just straight from football.
What he lost from FTX, all of that aside. But what he made was $336 million a year. Patrick Mahomes right now is on a 10-year deal that makes him about $50 million a year. 10 years, $500 million. But look, so what are we seeing each and every year? Jalen Hurts beating out Patrick Mahomes.
Just keeps
Lamar Jackson,
overstepping each other.
So right now they're giving him a 10-year deal, and they don't have to stack talent around him because he is so talented. Then you're going to get to year 6, year 7 of that contract where Patrick's going to be a little older there, but he's still getting $50 million a year. the opportunity to restructure that contract. Everyone else is going to be trying to get the bag, and the Chiefs can sit there and put great players, a great defense around Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs are set up for 10 years. Patrick Mahomes has done it the right way. So the next quarterback that we're looking at, right, Justin Herbert has not even gotten a playoff win yet. He's the highest paid quarterback in the league right now. I get it, for contract's sake. It makes sense. Fine and dandy, all that good stuff. Yeah. But now we're looking at Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow's next.
He's next. Is Joe Burrow going to set the new record, which means absolutely nothing, or take that pay cut? You're going to get paid regardless. You're a quarterback in the NFL. You're one of 32 guys.
Yep.
That's special, man. What you can do outside of your career is endless. And then what happens after your career is endless as well as one of the 32. So, man, if Joe Burrow takes not necessarily a pay cut, but doesn't try to get everything that he's necessarily worth, watch out, because it's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs running the AFC for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, my instinct tells me that he's going to do right because he cares about the team, and his goal is to win a Super Bowl.
And I'm not saying that necessarily that Justin Herbert or that Jalen Hurts or that these guys don't care about the team, and I'm not saying that they put themselves first, any of that good stuff. I'm just saying we look to the person who we all consider to be the GOAT in Tom Brady, and we can point out, I can point to you, man, look how many times the team saved Tom Brady so that they can win a championship. So if winning is the ultimate goal, then you got to take the pay cut. Now, if getting paid in that short time that you have as an NFL player, if that's your goal, I'm fine with that as well, because guess what? It's your talent, it's your luck, it's your blessings. Decision. You got there on your own 2 feet with the help of your supporting cast, but it does come down to your decision. It comes down to, is it legacy or money that you're playing this game for?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, it's almost like Patrick Mahomes, like you saw what Brady did and saw the long-term success the franchise had in that window, and he's kind of doing a lot of the same thing. So on that same token, but on the flip side, I don't know if you saw this one, David, but the Seahawks rookie Devin Witherspoon, he was the number 5 pick in this last year's draft. He's holding out. Still, he hasn't reported to training camp, and basically he's holding out over the signing bonus. He's supposed to have a $20.1 million signing bonus, and the Seahawks, they were okay with about 75 being handed over, but he's kind of holding out basically because he wants that entire signing bonus up front. He hadn't even played an NFL snap yet. And, some context, there's 4 players drafted ahead of him: Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and AR, Anthony Richardson. They got 100% of their signing bonus, but I'm pretty sure all 3 of those guys, obviously they're a quarterback, so it's a little different scenario, and they're going to be...
What about Will Anderson?
Will Anderson, he did not receive his signing bonus in one lump sum. Don't know what percentage he got, but he did not take it.
So with Witherspoon here, basically what we're saying is he's going to get 75% up front, and then the other 25% is going to be backloaded. End result, meaning he's going to be getting $20.1 million?
At some point, yes.
Okay,
it's just up front versus...
Yeah, he's playing a dangerous game because, well, it's not dangerous at the end of the day, I guess. But here's the thing: the Seahawks last year drafted Tariq Woolen. So honestly, you're just an addition. They're yes, they want great production out of you, but they had Tariq Woolen and he worked out. So, dude, just take the 75%. Play football, man. That's what this is about. It is a blessing and all of that good stuff, but you're playing a game, and while you're young at this point, you haven't taken a snap in the NFL.
No, you're a rookie.
75%, right? So that means that you still have 25% out there. So if you're terrible with your money to get started, guess what? You've got something back there that'll save you down the road. So man, I don't know. If it was me, I would like to have as much back paid as possible, because once I'm out of the NFL, I'm probably going to be mangled or whatever sport that it is that I'm playing. But you know what I mean, though?
100%.
Even if you're the strongest of all the guys, you leave the league with injuries.
Yeah.
Baseball players, we talked to Jay Chapman. He's not the same guy that he was before he played in the league.
Yep.
So save as much of that money as you possibly can to set your future up.
Well, and on the flip side of that, which may or may not be true, I mean, if he gets all that money and he's wanting to be smart and set up his family for the future, taking that all up front and getting it, and if that's your motivation, that's a whole different scenario, because now maybe you do get hurt in your first year or second year and you end up never, finishing out and you lose quote unquote money. So you get all that up front. I'm not saying that that's what he's doing, but just devil's advocate kind of stuff.
And to that point, though, my thing is, if mom and dad need a $5 million house, come on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can still live within the means. Now, maybe on that second or third contract, of course you want to take care of mom and dad. But mom and dad, in my opinion now, and I'm not a father, so I cannot speak to this legitimately, but I would say that if you're, if Liam makes it to the league, right? Are you sitting there saying, like, all right, it's time to put mama in a $10 million house, or like, hey, help us out or whatever, but we're going to also work with you in the sense of, like, we don't want you to splurge everything right here at the beginning. You know what I mean?
Oh, and I think my thing would be, set up your family, your kids, our grandkids, whatever. Make sure that they're set up for the future and success. Because if you're smart with your money, I mean, you can make money go a long way. A little hard.
$20 million?
Yeah, shoot, a little hard. I mean, even if you get 75%, if you're just getting that $15 million, I think you can make 15. That work.
I mean, I get it, and maybe this ties into ego. To a degree, because you've got to have ego to play the sport of football. I think you got to have some ego.
You have to
be a professional athlete.
But ego can also be very dangerous.
Right, 100%. I mean, we all have ego to some degree. It's just how much we show of it and whatnot. But to be a professional athlete, you got to have some of it. So in their mind, the possibility of ego and how much they're getting paid is one line.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So it's like, well, you drafted me fifth, pay me $20 million up front.
And it's what? It's critical thinking, right? Yeah. And if you don't know how to or haven't had to think critically, coming up through all these stages of your career in high school and college, and you've got all these people in your ear constantly saying, "Oh man, you can't go unless you get that full signing bonus." Yeah. And then you start to believe that kind of stuff, and you can't think on your. This is all speculation because you have no idea why he's holding out for really. But that's why we're on radio, because everything we talk about is hypothetical. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, and I like what you said about ego. I mean, top 5 in the draft. You're the 5th pick overall in the NFL draft. You're that dude.
Mm-hmm. But then for your future, though,
take your
right?
50, yeah,
right. But so your playing future, not your financial future, but it does it correlates perfectly. If you miss training camp, you're behind the ball. Mm-hmm. You miss 2 weeks of training camp, you're behind the ball.
In your rookie season.
In your rookie year. Do you want to be looking like a fool in your rookie year, or do you want to look like Tariq Woolen last year and be in the conversation for rookie of the year on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, and I mean, that's such a good point on the rookie side. I mean, especially a rookie on an NFL team, you've got to earn your stripes when it comes to, obviously you have to have the play to earn your stripes, and a lot of them do because they're so good. But at the same time, you're going into an organization, there's vets on this team that may be getting, not paid as much. And, we talk about the NIL in college football and kind of the dissension it could potentially create between teammates. I mean, does this kind of stuff sit sour for the vets, especially the vets on defense, and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know if it's gonna. I think that the vets, because they're there, right? Yeah. So they might have a better idea. They do have a better idea of what's going on with the mental of the youngin. So if it's affecting his play, affecting his teamwork, that's one thing. But those veterans also understand that every single contract that gets signed is for the betterment of the players in the future. So, and that's something that I think that guys like me and you just can't really understand, because we're not fighting for the future of the NFL. We're fighting for our teams and what we want to see in fantasy football and stuff like that.
Great point. Yeah, absolutely. But very interesting. He's the only, I had the number here a second ago. I think he's the only, I want to get it in before we hit this break. It's right here somewhere. Out of all, I don't know the number, but out of all the draft picks, he's the only one that hasn't signed yet.
All of them. Because Bryce Young's been signed, but he got, Frank Reich came out yesterday, said he is going to be the starter.
Yep, saw that, yeah.
Well, wow, out of all the draft picks, he's the only one
259 or something like that.
So we're talking about how many guys right now. I'm not even going to do the math, but a lot of players, 300-plus players possibly. Wow. Like, wouldn't you think if you're the last one, like, okay, go ahead and get it done? Or maybe you're just trying to create a little of that publicity for yourself.
Yeah, no doubt. And we just we've been talking about him. Devin Witherspoon. He played Clemson. Is that where he played?
Man,
I could be wrong. Felt like Clemson, but it could have been
I
a
want to say
Pac.
it was a Big Ten school.
Yeah, I could look it up, but we'll go ahead and take this break, and when we get back, we'll jump
Illinois.
That's right. I was thinking orange.
Yeah.
I was thinking orange, just a different color orange. I was going to dog Linda if it was Clemson, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Hello, Mr. Feinbaum.
Well, hello.
My name is Matthew. I'm 12, and I've called before. I like the show, but some of the callers aren't the sharpest knives in the drawer. So I guess that is part of the entertainment factor.
For 12, you're just simply too smart. You've got this thing figured out.
Yep.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Take your next adventure in an eco-friendly all-electric Kia EV6 that gives you the movement that inspires. You can live fully charged while saving now and down the road on fuel cost. Schedule a test drive today and explore the electrified Kia vehicles at Billburn Kia. You have to drive it to believe it. Now offering $7,500 EV lease bonus when you lease a new 2023 Kia EV6 Wind Electric all-wheel drive for 36 months. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology with a performance that minimizes the impact of our environment. Billburn Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. See us today at 2435 East 15th Street or BillburnKia.PanamaCity.com. We make it easy to switch to EV ownership and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Close-in lease based on a new 2023 Kia EV6, model number N5452. No security deposit required. $7,500 EV lease bonus not available for cash. Subject to credit approval, dealer participation, and vehicle availability. $49.99 due at signing for well-qualified leases. See dealer for complete details. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billburn Kia warranty. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 9/5/23.
At Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, you can find all the necessary items for an unforgettable fishing experience. From pin rods and reels to the best hand-tied rigs in Florida, we have it all. With the help of our friendly and knowledgeable staff, you can be sure that you have the right gear to make that big catch. Come experience a great local bait and tackle shop located directly off 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach, located just 5 miles west of Pier Park.
We're starting fresh.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
I woke up on the wrong side of the truck bed this morning with a bone dry bottle.
And welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. David reminded me in the break that Devin Witherspoon is just down the road on Highway 98. Went to Pine Forest High School there in Pensacola.
Yeah, how about that, man?
So, yeah. So maybe we should ask his former coach what he thinks. That'd be cool to get in there. What do you think? We were just talking as well. A lot of stuff has come out about the Sean Payton comments, that he had an interview over there and was really getting on to the former coaching staff and all that particular stuff. Some direct quotes from that. Alan, thank you for sending me. He said, "Oh man, there's so much dirt around that. There's 20 dirty hands for what was allowed and tolerated in this frickin' training room, the meeting rooms, the offense. I don't know, Hackett. A lot of people have dirt on their hands. It wasn't just Russell Wilson. He didn't just flip. He still has it. This BS should hit a wall. Shoot, they could get a play in. They were 29th in the league in pre-snap penalties on both sides of the ball. This wasn't his fault." Payton added that it was the parents who allowed it. So basically, what everything they're doing right now is that he's saying is the opposite of what the team was doing last year. He said this team should have been a playoff team, and just a lot of other crazy stuff, calling out former coach Nathaniel Hackett. What do you say? They play the Jets week 4, week 5, something
let me
like
see
that.
exactly
That's okay. They play week 4, week 5.
No, I have it's week 5.
There you go.
So, and it's going to Sunday, October 8th, and it's going to be the Jets in Denver. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to see how those fireworks, how that storyline is set up moving forward. This is a dangerous game for Sean Payton to play.
Well, and he's coming back with a vengeance. I mean, he hasn't been in the league in several years and takes over for what he called the Broncos' collapse and Russell Wilson's woes being on 20 dirty hands.
But so here's my issue though, right?
Russ doesn't cook.
So well, hold on. Russ had no involvement of this though.
Yeah.
Russ didn't have his.
He was in his office.
Now I will say, which Sean Payton even said later on in that article that it is kind of normal for a quarterback to have an office to watch film in. The problem is that gets magnetized whenever you're having a bad season. But here's the issue: if Russell Wilson is not the Russell Wilson of old, and he hasn't been for this wasn't a new thing over here in Denver. So Sean Payton's got to do this to stick up for his players. But now. So he wants to talk about the film room being magnetized and all that stuff. Well, now your comments, you didn't even go to local media with this. You declined to talk to the local media. You went to USA Today to have this conversation. You're not talking with the media today after practice. You're waiting until Friday. People have asked you to clarify the comments, which I don't think they need any clarification. He's taking a jab at, the way that the Broncos were ran last year under first-year head coach Nathaniel Hackett. Yes, there were some issues with time management, terrible issues with time management. And to some degree, I think that, yes, you could put that all on the head coach if you had a young quarterback.
Yeah.
You've got a veteran quarterback there who should have known better.
Yep.
Like, even if the play doesn't come in, this guy should know enough of the playbook to be able to relate to the guys in the huddle. This is what we're going to do. If our coach can't get it figured out, if he can't put us in the correct position, then me, as the leader of this team, I've got my own office. I'm going to come up with a little, okay, if we're down to 15 seconds and I still don't, because that's when I think it's 15 seconds of the play clock, or 25 seconds is when your communication cuts off. So if coach ain't got it in by then, I've got a little wristband here above my other wristband ready to go. Like there's no
some accountability for your quarterback.
It's your quarterback, man, and we're not talking about some young guy. So I don't get it. And Sean Payton's playing a dangerous game here, because if those Jets walk into Denver and make them look silly, then what's Nathaniel Hackett get to do on the sidelines as the offensive coordinator? Just sit over there and smirk. And then what happens? Now all of us here in the media, all of the people out there who play fantasy football and watch football and all that stuff, is Sean Payton really the guy that we thought? Now again, I don't think that we can just judge off of 1 year, but what they do with Nathaniel Hackett, judged off 1 year.
Absolutely.
So why not go after it again?
So just continuing on in the quote, like you were saying, it doesn't happen often where an NFL team or organization gets embarrassed, Coach Payton said, and that happened here. Part of it was their own fault relative to spending so much bleeping time trying to win the offseason, the PR, the pomp and circumstances, marching around people and all this stuff. We're not doing any of that. The Jets... Here you go. He's calling it the Jets again. The Jets did it this year. You watch Hard Knocks and Hard Knocks, all of it. I can see it coming. Remember when former Washington owner Dan Snyder put the dream team together? I was at the Giants in 2000. I was a young coach. I said, how are we going to compete with them? Deion Sanders is there now. The team won 8 games or whatever. So just listen, put the work in. There's a hunch that Payton could care less about making the Jets or anybody's bulletin board. There's enough scrutiny already. He's going to spark. But man, it is a dangerous game, and it can go one of two ways. It could really ignite your team to make stuff happen, or you could get the proverbial egg on your face. But he must see something in Russell Wilson that Hackett didn't see, or who knows what's really going on. They should have done a Hard Knocks at Denver this year.
I mean, that would have been a great place to have Hard Knocks. It's going to be, and the Jets, maybe they're lying, and they could be, but it's not like they're overly excited about having Hard Knocks there.
Yeah, the NFL
restrictions on them and stuff like that, and they couldn't back out because of the criteria that is set for them to be able to back out. So I think that this could really backfire on Sean Payton. Now it could fire the team up, it could fire Russell Wilson up, but if Javonte Williams is not, if he's not healthy or at 100%, that's not going to help the Broncos. It's Jerry Jeudy's got to stay healthy, or else you know what I mean? The tight end, what's his name, Dulich or something like that. That's great, but at the end of the day, Russell Wilson has to have the run game, because it was never about Russell cooking. It was about Russell serving the food that was prepared.
There you go.
From Marshawn Lynch and from that offensive line and from the Legion of Boom. That's where it was in Seattle.
Yep.
It wasn't Russell Wilson. It was Russell Wilson throwing the ball to Malcolm Butler.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. I mean, everything else was set up by the defense and the run game.
Right.
And he could scramble around.
Yeah.
He made some plays. I mean, for sure, and they won a Super Bowl.
But he lived within what his capabilities were, and then once that Russ Cook stuff started to happen, even Pete Carroll. Like, I would take Pete Carroll over Sean Payton.
Oh, yeah.
So there's my issue right there. It's like, yeah, Sean Payton is a great coach, and he does have a Super Bowl. But there are plenty of these coaches out here that we can look at. Oh, he's got a Super Bowl, but are we going to be clamoring over him in the offseason?
Yeah.
Like, if Mike McCarthy gets fired from the Cowboys, are people going to be like, oh, please, Mike McCarthy, come be the head coach of us?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, a lot of credit for one Super Bowl.
I mean, and he did it with New Orleans, and it was very special.
It was because of Katrina and all that, so it had a lot more emotional value for sure.
And you root for the guy, like you do. I want to see Denver. I want to see every NFL team do good because it just brings the parity. But this is just setting yourself up for, like, why even if you weren't going to talk about this with the local media?
Yeah.
Why go all the way to the top with USA Today essentially, and then not even field questions after that? So hopefully Friday. Tomorrow is going to be very interesting. It won't. We'll be talking about it Monday.
Yeah. I mean, and it's maybe he just he's back in the league. He retired from coaching. He comes back. Maybe he does a I don't give a crap attitude. And he's like, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and if it backfires on us, so be it. I'll retire after this season.
And at the end of the day, I would rather him have that mindset because it makes it a lot more fun for us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, and like in our group text, Alan was saying, like, they've got weapons, they've got people, but Russell has to put the ball in their hands, and they has to put the ball in the right spot, at the right route, at the right read, at the right time in order for their offense to be successful. And that's still yet to be seen with recent Russell Wilson.
And very similar to the Chargers, where it's never the same. Like, you don't have all your guys at the same time.
Yep.
And that's also an issue as well.
Yeah, and they'll start the season that way, but stuff will happen, and we'll see how it all plays out.
It's football.
Yeah.
So that's the part
of
of putting the roster together for you to be able to outlast all the injuries.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to talk about my boy, my boy Brock Purdy. He takes the field today in equipment, and he'll be taking first-team reps. Obviously, he'll still be on the quote-unquote pitch count. But Coach Shanahan was talking about Brock Purdy and shared a story about the time he knew when he had a dude, as he said it, in Brock Purdy. And it all came to be, he was very high on him in the preseason, and that's why they ended up cutting C.J. Beathard instead of keeping him and getting rid of Purdy, even though Beathard had been in the year a lot longer. But the same amount of games, they each had started, I think Beathard had started one, and they just liked how he was in every rep he took, especially in training camp. He was going as hard as he possibly could, like he was trying to prove himself, playing with that chip on his shoulder. And Shanahan loved that, but I'm going to skip all the way ahead to this story about the time. Obviously he came in. Garoppolo suffered the injury against the Dolphins, and he came in back, and they ended up winning that game. And then Kyle spoke about how the players never wavered on Brock, but it was week 15 on the road against Seattle when Shanahan knew. The quote says, "At that time, especially with Trey being out and Jimmy being up in the air when he could come back, that's when I knew we had a dude. Because of how good he played in the 2 weeks prior, I think he had broken ribs that Thursday." This was never talked about. Had broken ribs that Thursday. I remember when he took his shot pregame warm-ups, he couldn't throw because it was still hurting in that area. I'm sitting there going through the openers, not knowing if he could throw or not. So he's waiting for that to kick in. And I'm thinking if I should go with Josh Johnson or not, who had been with us for 2 days. Then Brock is like, I think I can do it. Then watching him in that game, how hurt he was, watching him manage the game and some of those plays he made to move the change on 3rd and 1 scrambling. I knew we had a dude who was made up the right way, who could handle the pressure and stuff. We've seen what he does as a player during practice, but it was more of this makeup. It was proven. So the big topic of conversation with this whole Brock Purdy situation, is he proven? Is he the real deal? He won eight straight games last year. It's a small sample size, but obviously won 2 playoff games against your 2 rivals, and then, circumstances in the NFC Championship that, we've talked about to death. But, what do you think about the whole quarterback situation there in San Francisco? It's a great situation when it comes to money, because you have so little money tied up in your 3 quarterback room that allows you to do some other things, hopefully signing Bosa to a huge contract here shortly. But
it's hard for me to take anyone who has 1 year of success and count on them for the next year, especially in 8 games when the 49ers, after they get past week 4 or 5, just flip a switch and become one of the best teams in the NFL, and that's throughout all facets of the game. It's not just like it's Kyle Shanahan and his offense. The defense is extremely nasty. The run game's good. The pass game's good. for me to sit here and say that Brock Purdy's just unequivocally the real deal, I'm not going to say that yet, but I'll say from what I saw from him last year, Kyle Shanahan puts his quarterbacks in position to succeed, and that's all you got. That's all you can ask for. Like, as long as he doesn't have to do too much, then I think the 49ers are in great position. And if it doesn't, because of where that injury is, and say he takes another elbow, or another helmet to that elbow.
Yeah.
I would really like to see how Sam Darnold does being back on the West Coast. You know what I mean? Playing college ball there at USC. I mean, and he's going to be playing where it's not about what can Sam Darnold do for you. It's what can Sam Darnold not hurt you in.
Yeah.
What can Brock Purdy, how can he not hurt you? You know what I mean? So to say he's the real deal, I'm not sold on it yet, but I will say that it was a wild ride.
How many, if he ends up being the week 1 starter, how many wins in the first 5 or 6 weeks does he have to?
Do you have the schedule in front of you?
No, I don't, but I can pull it up. I know they start with Pittsburgh.
So Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
That's like the worst game. That's the worst team that you want to start against.
Yeah, brutal defense.
T.J. Watt to start the year. But last year, didn't T.J. Watt, he had like 4 or 5 sacks, I think, in that first game.
Yeah.
and then got injured very early on, or he just got injured very early on. So Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so they go to Pittsburgh. They're a 3-point favorite. And then they come and they go back across the country, and I'm sure they'll be in Virginia like they always do, getting ready for that Steelers game. And then they come back and they got to play the Rams down there at SoFi Stadium. They're a 5.5-point favorite there. Kind of a huge division rivalry game right off the get-go, even though everybody's saying the Rams aren't going to be quite as good as they were. But Stafford is back. I think Cooper Kupp is healthy. So, and then they play the first home game is against the Giants on Thursday Night Football on September 21st. They're currently a 6-point favorite against the Giants at home. First game in Santa Clara.
So I'm looking at it over here as well. Now, I like the Steelers in week 1 with it being in Pittsburgh. With the addition of Patrick Peterson over there. I like that secondary, and I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy for that first game.
If he even starts for that game.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if it's still, I like the Steelers in that one just to start the year out, but I like the 49ers on the road against the Rams. I like the 49ers right now, Monday Night Football against the Giants, definitely against the Cardinals, and then the Cowboys, I'm just not going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. October 8th, the Sunday night game.
But 3-1 out of your first 4 games, if that's, because y'all could absolutely go 4-0, 5-0 here.
But we always find a way to start 1-3 or 2-4. Yeah. But hopefully this year will be a different year.
Yeah.
Jumping into, I know we got just a few seconds left, 30. But 30 seconds left. But this will be hopefully the first year Shanahan, since he's been at the Niners, has consistent quarterback room. Jimmy was consistent for a while, but he missed a lot of time with injuries in 18, 20, and 22. We'll jump a lot more into divisional over-unders and college football over-unders and win totals and all that tomorrow. It's going to be Football Friday tomorrow. Thank you for listening to the Inside Drive. Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m. right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll see you tomorrow.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
And the first thing I thought when I saw that Justin Herbert's getting 5 years for $260 million, Joe Burrow, come on down. He knows that that's the